Welcome to part 5 of this trunnion build video series. In this part I gonna machine the shaft that will support this end of the C-axis bracket and machine the housing where the servo will get in for the C-axis. First part I'm gonna make is the shaft. I'm gonna first turn it on the lathe because it has the bearing fitting inside and a fitting that needs to get inside this chamber for alignment. Then on the manual mill I want to drill 2 holes on an angle through the part which need to guide the cables, and after that I will mill on the CNC mill a slot inside of it where the belt needs to go through. The first part on the lathe is finished. Now I'm gonna use my manual mill to drill 2 holes on an angle through the part which will the cables for the servo go through. The 2 holes have been drilled now. Now I'm gonna saw off the rest of the stock material, put it back in the lathe, face off the back side, and then I can put it underneath the CNC mill and mill the slot where the belt needs to go to. The part is now finished on the lathe. Now it's time to mill this slot and drill and mill the holes around, and those 4 holes that will hold the bracket that's gonna hold the servo. Now let's put it inside the machine, make a program, let's run it. This milling operation is now finished. I'm gonna manual tap these holes and then let's bolt it to the rest of the assembly. I mounted the shaft inside the assembly now. Everything seems to fit well. It is not sticking out super far since the harmonic drive on this side is more in because of the mistake that happened on this part, but it should still have enough clearance to make this part rotating around it. So next part I want to make is this small little bracket that will hold the servo inside the big enclosure that will get on it. So first make this one, then I can machine the housing and make sure that the bracket will fit inside. The bracket of the servo turned out quite well. Now it's time to make the last big piece for the trunnion. It's the part that will where the servo will go in. It's another part where a lot of material needs to be removed. I already made the complete program for the first part. So let's get the material inside the machine and hit cycle start. The outside has now been roughed out. Now we're going to use that long 16mm end mill again to contour finish the outside in one pass. Let's see how that turns out on this part. Now that the outside has been finished up, it's time to rough out the inside part. Gonna do the same like the outside first. Use a shorter 10mm end mill to do the first 30mm, and then use the longer extended tool to rough out the bottom part. The inside is now roughed out. I drilled a small bore here to drain the water, and I will use this hole later to indicate the backside. Now I'm gonna run the program to finish all the inside work, and then I need to finish this edge where the cover will get in, drill the holes, chamfer, and then this side is done. Flip it around. Operation 1 on this part is now done. I'm gonna flip it around, clamp it not too tight, and then just face up the rest of the stock and drill and mill the holes where the belt needs to go through and the mounting, so I can mount this part on the shaft. The cover for the servo is finished. Now let's put the bracket back on the servo, mount it inside of here, and then mount it to the trunnion. Let's see how it looks like. The servo cover has now been mounted, so the final dimensions of the trunnion is now clearly visible. It's quite a turned out bigger than I originally thought, but it turned out super great. So that's it for this part of this video. In next part I'm gonna work on the belt connection between the servo and the harmonic, and then we should have both axes working, and then I can make the table, and then we can try to do some test cutting. But first let's see how far we're gonna come in the next part. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode.